Unser is just could possibly win this race for him. Just 2 laps to go, Jim.
He won it in 1970 racing for Parnelli Jones. Again in 1971, he was the last man to repeat. He won it in a chaparral in 1978. He has not won it in 9 years, but he was second in 83, fifth in 82, third in 84, fourth in 85. And now it looks like he's going to add first in 1987.
And with that incredible record behind him, Jim, still, when I stood next to Al when he went out to qualify and to put this car in the show 2 weeks ago, as he put his earpieces in, we see him coming up to 1 lap, his hands were shaking so badly he could barely get his earpieces in. So no one is ever immune to the pressures of this place, and I don't think on this last lap that he's immune to it either in that cockpit. Do you?
Boy,
Karen doesn't want to look. Karen doesn't want to
Karen's
look.
face, and that tells you the story. She just crossed her fingers. She got everything crossed. She just praying to God that he can make it around the rest of this last remaining lap.
He's in the short chute between turns 1 and 2.
Going down
he's going down the back stretch. Now he's into turn 3.
He can coast from there, right? Just about.
When he comes off at turn 4, he can slide across.
That's Chris Mears, Rick Mears' wife, hugging Karen. And now here it is. Your brother, Al Unser, joins A.J. Foyt as one of only 2 men ever to win the Indianapolis 500 4 times in his life.
That is fabulous. That is absolutely fabulous. I just cannot believe it.
Bobby, congratulations. That is simply fantastic.
Thank you.
That's just great.
This has been a day. This makes up for Robbie getting his leg broken.
2 to go at Indianapolis. Cheever pulls away last lap at 212 miles an hour. The lap before that at 213. Driving away from the competition, Eddie Cheever is on his way to being the 58th different winner of the Indianapolis 500-mile race. Next time around, there it is, the white flag, 2.5 miles to go for Eddie Cheever. The crowd standing, the crowd cheering. He can almost carry the car from this point. His final pass down the backstretch.
He'd like to get through 3 and 4 before he starts carrying it.
Final pass through the north end. Off of turn 4, down the long front stretch, screaming for the yard of bricks, hand up, saluting the crowd. Eddie Cheever has won the 82nd running of the Indianapolis 500-mile race. Last owner-driver to win at Indy was A.J. Foyt in 1977. Now, Eddie Cheever is one of those. Last lap at 210 miles an hour, Jerry Punch.
Will Power, for a number of years, talked about having difficulty managing the mental aspect of racing. The pressure situations, had difficulty with that. Got himself into position to win a championship, had to lose one to win one, finally won that championship. Then oval track racing. People said he's not a good oval track racer. He's a supreme road course racer. He worked on it, losing out to Montoya in 2015 here, but finishing second. Springboarded Will Power's confidence level at this racetrack. And now here he is, I've told you before, so smooth and so calm and so confident all month. And now just over a lap away from checking that last box of career goals.
He's got 1 back marker to cut through.
And that box that you talk about, we mentioned earlier on the show, if you drive for Roger Penske, yes, you can win championships. As he's coming up for 1 lap to go, the white flag is flying, but you need to make sure that you win an Indianapolis 500 if you want to retain your job with Team Penske.
40.
The lap car is Charlie Kimball. You hear the radio call, clear by 40 car lengths, 2 corners to go. Fans on their feet waving and cheering. He'll never be introduced the same way again. From now on, it'll be Will Power, Indianapolis 500 winner for 2018. Checkered flag, Power and Penske win it.
2.3 seconds separated. Rick Mears and Michael Andretti on the last pass at the start-finish line. They're averaging 175.7 miles an hour. Not near the race record set here last year at 185.9 miles an hour by Ari Luyendyk. Ari Luyendyk is still in this race. He runs in 3rd place, a lap behind the leaders. But Ari does, in fact, have the leaders in sight. Should anything happen in these last 2 laps, Ari Luyendyk is definitely within striking distance and could pick up his 2nd win. Rick Mears on the backstretch. The crowd anticipates a potential 4-time win for Rick. Michael Andretti in a desperate drive to try and catch him.
On a day that sees what may be the retirement from competition by the great 4-time winner, A.J. Foyt, we may see another 4-time winner crowned in Rick Mears.
And the white flag has been thrown to Rick Mears, indicating 1 lap to go. Now less than 2 miles for Rick Mears. If he holds on, he will become the 3rd 4-time winner of the Indianapolis 500 here on the 75th running of the great race. Chris Mears as Rick runs the straightaway. One corner left to go. 1 corner left to run. You can see the checkered flag just ahead of him now. Emerson Fittipaldi can sense the checkered flag and its $1 million purse just ahead. He ran the last lap at 214 miles an hour, the fastest lap thus far in the Indy 500.
When he comes by here, he sounds like he's wide open. I can't hear him lift at all. Here he comes into turn 2 again, right down to the white line, out next to the wall, very conservative, but moving on.
The first 5 drivers in the race right now born outside of the United States. This is an international event.
Emerson Fittipaldi continues to pull away from Ari Luyendyk. As we watch now for the white flag that will indicate Fittipaldi has just 2.5 miles to go for his 2nd win at the Indianapolis 500. And there it is. Another Penske car heading into the record book. 2.5 miles to go. Fittipaldi works through the short chute, now into the 2nd turn. 1 more full straightaway to run. 2 corners of short chute, and then half a stretch, and Fittipaldi will be home. Luyendyk tried to close, couldn't do it, dropped even further back. In fact, it may become a battle for 2nd between Mansell and Luyendyk. Here comes Fittipaldi, Emerson Fittipaldi. The final turn for home, the checkered flag, and Emerson Fittipaldi has won his 2nd Indianapolis 500. Fittipaldi led only the last 16 laps of the race to score Roger Penske's 9th Indianapolis 500 victory.
Also got to keep in mind, these guys have tires that are not quite as sharp. They've run these cars right now just as hard as they can be run. So adhesion to the track is a little bit scary sometimes.
There's Salazar in that yellow and green car going by. An experienced road racer, Eliseo Salazar, coming out of IMSA, driving for Dick Simon here. A very, very fine performance for him today. 40 years old, a very veteran driver, but a rookie here at Indianapolis.
No one has ever come from 2 laps down to win the Indy 500. The youngest winner thus far in the history of the race was Troy Ruttman. Now, Jacques Villeneuve will be looking at a white flag and one final lap, a final 2.5 miles. An unbelievable run. The story will be told that Jacques Villeneuve went 2 laps down on a penalty and fought his way back to the front of the field, across the South Chute for the final time in front of Bobby Unser.
Going by us, and he's looking really good, Paul. No problems.
Ari Luyendyk staying right there, wants to get in that winner's picture. Jacques Villeneuve on the backstretch.
The magnitude of his achievement. Listen to the roar of the crowd. Back from 2 laps down. Only his 2nd year.
One more turn. The first Canadian on his way to winning the Indianapolis 500. Jacques Villeneuve on the home stretch. And the 79th Indy 500 has been won by Jacques Villeneuve as Ari Luyendyk screams by on the outside. The young Canadian has taken the win. There's 2nd place, Christian Fittipaldi. 3rd place is Bobby Rahal. Eliseo Salazar finishes in 4th. Robbie Gordon comes across the line in 5th place. And look at the despair of Leslie Goodyear.
Penske's cars are, with just a couple of laps to go, now 2 laps to go, running 1st and 3rd, just as they did at this point last year, Jim, in a race which, of course, was run by Rick Mears. This year, it may be Danny Sullivan.
But he is now lengthened that lead to 2.4 seconds. The next time around, he will get the white flag, indicating 1 lap to go for the leader. Just 1 to the checkered flag. Looking around inside the car, it appeared there.
Yeah, Sullivan has worked as a janitor, a cab driver in New York, a hand on a chicken farm, a waiter, a lumberjack, a sod cutter, but I don't think he's ever worked at a job quite like this, the winning of the Indianapolis 500.
Here comes the white flag, 1 lap to go. For the 35-year-old who, at the point you make so well, Sam, he is known as the swinging bachelor of the circuit, but he has paid his dues. All the menial jobs he had with 13 years of racing behind him.
Yes, he has, but for all of the things that I hope and wish for Danny Sullivan, and I'm one of his greatest fans, this man, Mario Andretti, looks as if he's headed for defeat today on the day he said he had the best chance ever in his 20 years to win the Indianapolis 500. I feel incredibly for Mario, who put so much work and so much hope into this and is coming up short just a few seconds worth.
The old American hero will lose the race. The new American hero is Daniel John Sullivan III of Louisville, Kentucky, who has won the Indianapolis 500. Mario Andretti finishing 2nd. Roger Penske, the crew chief. Now is the time to celebrate. They didn't budge a muscle until he had crossed the start-finish line, that yard of brick, for the last time.
Two to go. The Indianapolis 500 is down to the Indy 5. There is Dan Weldon and Danica Patrick, the best they have been able to muster. They are 2.3 and 2.8 seconds behind race leader Elio Castroneves. It's been a good day, but not quite good enough. Marco Andretti, of course, not in the race. And this is his best shot after Tony Kanaan also crashed, but it looks like 3rd may be the spot where she ends up, as here we go through turn 4, heading for the white flag here at Indianapolis. Flagman, look at the crowd. Listen to the crowd. Keep going. 1 lap to go. 2.5 miles, 4 corners. Roger Penske doesn't even crack a smile. Never. But he knows what he's about to experience as well. Down the back straightaway for the final time. 1 mile to go. 2 corners. This crowd, look at him, just saluting him. 5 weeks ago, Elio Castroneves was staring at jail, an orange suit, not a race suit. And now he becomes a 3-time winner of the biggest race in the world. Elio Castroneves wins at Indy. You're getting a little excited about this,
look at
aren't
this
you?
traffic's gonna be right going into 1. Oh no.
You've got 2 laps remaining in the Indianapolis 500.
Get out of the way.
Dixon has got traffic. He makes it. He gets through.
That's it. If he has another problem, he's won the 500.
Mears clears. But now there's going to be more lap traffic.
Get out of the way.
The white detour coming for the white.
Get out of the way.
A lot of the drivers that pulled off the racetrack, but this one decides to stay on, but he does get past cleanly.
That was John Andretti, gave him plenty of room. But
Who's the next one?
It looks like Mears is losing ground because of the lap traffic. Here we go. The white flag is about to be shown to Scott Dixon. Remember, he finished second here last year. That's Buddy Lazier in front of him, the 1996 winner. Lazier, several laps down.
Come on, not in between.
Clear. Bring it home now. Bring it home.
You heard him. Bring it home. He's down the backstretch. Remember, at the beginning of the day, we talked about the perfect storm. Well, for Scott Dixon, his storm started last year at Chicago when he lost the race and the championship on the final turn of the final lap of the final race. But not today. Coming through turn number 4, Scott Dixon is going to complete his perfect storm with a win at the Indianapolis 500.
Exceptional.
Take your time and wait to those people, Scott. Great job, man. Woo! Good job, boys. Good job. Woo! Congratulations, Scott. Great job.
Larry, exactly what Roger Penske keeps telling Elio over the radio. Remember, stay smooth, stay steady.
Next time around, Castroneves will receive the white flag. 1 lap to go. The interval is 1.7 seconds between Castroneves and his Penske teammate Joe Rivera. Michael Andretti is now 7.7 seconds behind. Jimmy Vasser is 4th and Bruno Junqueira 5th. Then Tony Stewart, Salazar, Dare, Boat, and Giafondi.
Well, he's coming up on some slower cars. That's Greg Ray right in front of him, and he's going to have to be very careful. He can't slow up too much, though. His teammate's only a second and a half behind him, so he's going to have to probably make this pass. He can't just follow Greg Ray.
There it is, the white flag. 1 more lap to go. 2.5 miles for Elio Castroneves. He'll pass Greg Ray going into turn number 1, and now DeFerrin gets hung up behind some slower traffic just momentarily. But Castroneves brings it safely through turn number 2 and on to the backstretch. Well, 671 men and women have competed here in Indianapolis in the 85-year history of the 500. Only 60 have experienced the ultimate thrill of winning here. The date of May 27th, 2001 will forever be etched in the memory of Elio Castroneves. He has realized the ultimate dream. Elio Castroneves has won the Indianapolis 500. And Roger Penske wins his 11th, and the cars finish 1-2, Vince.
Hundreds of thousands of people now up and ready to watch on their tiptoes as they go green and race for 2 laps. The Indianapolis 500 is now the Indianapolis 5 between Kevin Kogan and Bobby Rahal and Rick Mears.
Oh, and Kevin didn't get the start he might have hoped for.
And Rahal's going by him. Bobby Rahal in car number 3 has the lead once again. You look at Debbie. She knows what's happened. They come out of turn 2. They're going down into turn 2 now, down the back stretch. Rahal trying to stretch the lead over Kogan. Mears trying to get into it.
I think it was a disadvantage for Kevin to be leading because it allowed Rahal to sit back just slightly and time the start. In fact, here comes Rick Mears.
Can't get by him. They're in turn 3. Now they're in turn 4. And they'll come out of turn 4 and onto the front straight. There will be 1 lap to go now when Bobby Rahal comes by the start-finish line. 33-year-old Bobby Rahal of Dublin, Ohio, trying to beat 30-year-old Kevin Kogan. And right now, Debbie Rahal believes it's about to happen. They're into turn 1.
Looks good, doesn't it, Rahal?
He's got it. He's got it if the car holds
Just
up.
ran a lap at 204 miles an hour, so he had something left, and he's showing it right now. And Rick Mears may be going to menace Kevin Kogan for second as Rahal goes on to win. That's a possibility.
The yellow flag, which appears to have won the race for Kevin Kogan instead created an opportunity for Bobby Rahal to win it. An opportunity that Rahal has taken advantage of. There in front of him, on the right, now the left, Dwayne Sweeney holds a checkered flag for the 1986 Indianapolis 500 champion, Bobby Rahal.
Well, one of the clears, Debbie. Fantastic. Easily one of the greatest 500s we've ever seen.
Pace car moves away. One car separating Lazier from Davy Jones, second place. Richie Hearn is in third, but he's back in that order. So now the pace begins to pick up. Jones will be looking for an ability to move on it. And then he's saying, come on, go now, go now, go now. Lazier being careful, comes back to the green flag. Green and white at the same time. 1 lap to go. 2.5 miles, and the idiot running to the Indy 500. Buddy Lazier screams down toward turn 1. Jones doesn't seem like he can make a move on him. Onto the backstretch.
Looking good coming out here.
Jones still looking for a chance to move. He's trying to get around Jourdain. He's around him now, in contact with the leader. The third turn, 1 to go in Indianapolis. Buddy Lazier taking a look at the fourth turn, comes off the fourth corner. And the checkered flag lies just ahead as Buddy Lazier takes the checkered flag and wins the Indianapolis 500. Firestone's first win since 1971. And a crash on the finish. Big crash on the finish of the race. Salazar, looks like Zampedri, and Guerrero. So Ari Luyendyk will come around, and he has a yellow out at the start-finish line. Luyendyk, there he is. You're on board him. The white flag is there, and they're going to go green for the final lap. Here we go. One more lap. 2.5 miles, and the Indy 500 will be decided.
Get going, buddy, get going.
Making the turn for home, here comes Ari Luyendyk.
Get down here! That's it, baby!
And you heard the call on their two-way radio. Ari Luyendyk now becomes a two-time winner at Indy. Luyendyk, the pole sitter, has taken the Indy 500.
Elio Castroneves in the Auto Nation Sirius XM Honda for Meyer Shank in his 21st Indy 500.
Oh, yeah, it's
Here
on.
we go.
Castroneves can do it, I think.
Here we go.
2 laps to go, 2.
Here it comes. Outside, that is bold.
Turn
Just set
1,
it up.
Elio.
Don't lose too much ground, Pagenaud. Get back in line, get down low, and get some clean air on your wing. Get a run, set it up for the last lap.
Paul, I think Castroneves has to start driving a line he doesn't normally run, which is all the way down over the white line. Take the air away from Pagenaud to the inside. Don't let him get any more front grip than he needs.
He's right there, Castroneves.
Oh,
Look at all this lap traffic now.
Oh, boy.
Lap traffic will become a factor as they come up on these. Look at that pack of lap cars going slow. This is going to be crazy.
White flag.
My goodness. Elio Castroneves has to weave his way through here under the ultimate pressure. Got to set this up. Pagenaud's got to just back it off here and set this up off of turn 2. This is where it's going to happen. Final lap out of turn 2. Onto the backstretch for the final time. Can Castroneves weave his way around with a move that Ryan Hunter-Reay put on him many years ago? He sticks behind RHR. Now here Pagenaud. Pagenaud gets closer. There's a 4-time win on the line for Elio Castroneves. Look at the crowd. They know history's on the line. Welcome to the four-time club, Elio Castroneves. That is awesome. Spider-Man is back at the Speedway.
Wow, look at that. Holding up all four, Elio Castroneves goes into history.
Way to wheel that car, dude. That was freaking awesome.
With authority, Paul. He did it with authority.
Awesome job.
Will be disgusted with a second place here. He has the car.
2 by 5.
He has the fuel. He has the desire, and I think he'll leave it all out on the racetrack with 2 to go.
2 laps to go, and Pagenaud's got his teammate Alexander Rossi right behind as well. Newgarden, O'Ward, Rossi, Dixon, and Pagenaud.
You can see the balance in that race car. He is nervous. He is balancing that thing on the absolute edge.
You know what to do now.
Great job hanging on to it. He's got a nice run coming to turn 3.
And decides not to take it. That tells you everything you need to know.
That shocks me.
If a yellow comes out now, we can't red flag it.
White flag, amigo. White flag.
White flag, amigo.
Here it comes.
There has never been a Mexican driver win the Indianapolis 500. Maybe that time is now. With 1 more lap to go, Pato goes to the lead.
He's not going to lift this time. He did it against Ericsson and lost. Pagenaud Award to the front off of turn 2.
5 back, 6 back.
O'Ward tries to break the draft. Newgarden's like, I've been in this situation before. Josef Newgarden around the outside of Pagenaud Award. This is mind-blowing. Josef Newgarden had to wait 12 times to win it, and now he's going to do it back-to-back. Josef Newgarden is a 2-time Indy 500 winner. Oh, my goodness.
Let's go! Let's go!
The difference between first and second, besides the Borg Warner Trophy, probably be about $600,000 for these 2 drivers. But as a driver, you just want the trophy right now. Gilles never had it. Castroneves, it would be his 3rd time.
Castroneves inched in,
Everybody 3.
but the interval remains about the same, 3/10.
Castroneves has been here twice. He's won twice. He doesn't know what it's like to lose.
2.5 miles to go for Gilles de Ferran.
I guarantee you his heartbeat is going so hard right now that his chest is probably hurting. Remember last year he lost a tire after a pit stop. Looked like he had the opportunity to win that race.
If Castroneves is going to have a chance, it would be now. He tries to get a little clean air. Doesn't work for him. Through turn 3. Castroneves still trying to close. De Ferran looks at the front stretch. He can see the checkered flag now. And Gilles de Ferran becomes the 62nd driver to win in the Indianapolis 500. Gilles de Ferran.
2 laps to go in the 103rd running of the Indianapolis 500. Is it going to be Rossi? Is it going to be Pagenaud?
Gearbox. That's your gearbox making the move outside. Still there, all clean.
Pagenaud's got to just set this up for turn 3 and 4. I think it's going to come down to the checkered flag, but Sato is back in the mix. He's right there on the tail of Pagenaud. And here he comes, Lee. Might happen going to 3.
Pagenaud had a great turn 3 last time. Simon Pagenaud takes the lead of the Indy 500 with 1.25 laps to go.
Wow. Coming to the white flag. He's got a nice gap, but he's got to hang on the rest of the lap.
This little bubble of clean air might help Rossi get a big run through turns 1 and 2.
Final lap, and it's a 3-way shootout. Is Sato even in it? Here comes Rossi. Rossi is clawing Simon Pagenaud back out of turn 2. Down the back stretch for the final time. And Pagenaud's trying to run away, and Rossi's not letting it happen.
Still single file.
Rossi on the high line. He has to tuck it back in. The short shoot.
Clear by 2.
Rossi's going to have a massive draft on Simon Pagenaud into the home stretch. Less than half a mile. Simon Pagenaud sweeps the month of May and wins his maiden Indy 500. How about that?
Get a drive there, buddy. Awesome job. You're the man.
221.6 miles an hour last lap.
Two to go.
He's going to try the outside again. Nope.
Can't get it done there because the wind does not work with you. It has to be down the other end.
And Jones has closed the gap on Castroneves.
A lap and a half to go for Takuma Sato. He's won once in IndyCar Series competition. Former Formula One driver. Had one getaway a few years ago. Now he's going to see the white flag, and he's opened up a little bit of a gap on Castroneves. One lap to go in the Indy 500.
White flag. Keep hustling.
Castroneves tries to close, Sato tries to defend. 2 corners until the checkered flag.
Still clear by 2.
The one that got away comes back to him. Checkered flag is in the air, and the 101st Indianapolis 500 is won by Takuma Sato.
Well, there it is. They give them 3. We get less than that. We get about 2.5. Okay, I don't think. Well, now you don't need to measure seconds. You can see them.
You see it now. Will traffic be a problem? One of the Winningtons is ahead of them at this stage. Remember, if Mears catches him, he's still going to have to pass him.
Sam, we've got a trophy dash to the finish line. If this stays this way, there's never anything like it. The closest finish in the history of Indianapolis was in 1937, 2.16 seconds. There's Tina Mears. Her man is the man that's closing on the leader.
Yep. Look at Mears pour it on, Jim. I know when you're this close, I mean, you can reach out, you can feel that guy ahead of you. And look at Mears now. Here's Johncock taking a fairly moderate line, and Mears is catching. Look at his speed off that turn.
I've never seen anything like it. There they go. 2 laps to go. There's time to catch him if he can do it. Nick Mears, his wife. The stopwatch, 0.63 seconds between them.
I don't have to tell you what's going to happen if he catches him. It's going to be, I mean, this is extremely dangerous business right here.
I don't think I've ever seen an open wheel car race with people this close at the finish.
No, and never so fast. I mean, these laps in the high 190.
Look at this.
Tina there. All right.
He may do it.
Yeah, he may. He's that close. Look at that. Shallow line.
They're going to get the white flag. There'll be 1 lap to go. As he moves along, trying for Johncock. Is he going to do it? The white flag out. This is the final lap.
Going down into the first turn. What? No. Gordon held him off there going into that first turn.
Over the roar of the engines, you can hear the 400,000 people going hoarse.
All right.
No one has ever seen this before in Indianapolis.
This is the back straight, Jim. There's 2 turns to go now. Mears behind, and he's again trying to slipstream him.
Johncock did a good job of staying ahead of him in turn 1 when he made that move there.
Good.
That
was
may be
brilliant.
enough.
That was brilliant.
Not quite over. Johncock still with the lead.
Here it comes
Headed
again.
for the finish line.
Here it
He's
comes
still
again.
closing. That's his wife.
It's too late now. You only got to pray. Look at that.
There you see them. Mears. Can he make a move at the finish? He's making a move. No, not quite. Gordon Johncock has won the Indianapolis 500. He won it by less than a car length. Johncock has won it.
5 miles is a lot of distance the way this draft has been working today, and here they come. The final 2 laps, 5 miles at Indianapolis. Juan Pablo Montoya leads. Will Power is second. Charlie Kimball third. Scott Dixon fourth. Next time is the white flag.
And Power is back in his toe. Montoya's trying to break the toe by going to the bottom part of the track and then back up to the high part.
Right now it will be a Penske win unless these two guys take themselves out. And who's behind you? Two Ganassi cars.
The white flag is waiting at the yard of bricks. And we enter the final lap of the Indianapolis 500. Kimball has caught up to Power. 1 lap to go. Who's going to win it? Slipped in turn 2. Justin Wilson just came off the pit lane. He and Munoz had to stop for fuel. Final 2 corners for Montoya. He was all the way back in 30th place after an box crash. Here they come to the checkered flag. And the winner of the Indianapolis 500 is Juan Pablo Montoya.
The man! Yeah! Yeah! That's how he's good! Great job, Juan. Guys, you're awesome.
Palou is on the inside of Rossi, but Ericsson has bolted. Ericsson sprints away from Josef Newgarden and is doing what he did a year ago.
The second year in a row we see him unleashing the dragon as we see almost contact between Palou and Ferrucci. Ericsson leads out a 1.
Ferrucci threw a shoulder at Alex Palou and said, "Don't you dare." Ferrucci trying to get a draft off Newgarden and Ericsson, but Newgarden with a monster run off turn 2.
Josef Newgarden has never won the Indianapolis 500, and he's ahead on this last lap. Josef Newgarden, is this the moment when the pain ends?
By one.
The drought, is it over for Josef Newgarden, or does Marcus Ericsson have something?
By 2.
Team Penske at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and Josef Newgarden finally wins the Indianapolis 500. It's the captain's 19th win, Newgarden's first.
For the work.
Finally, Newgarden is an Indy 500 champ.
Can Michael Andretti pull it off at the age of 43? Will he win his first Indy?
Green flag.
The green flag is out, and this time by there will be 4 laps remaining at Indianapolis. And look at the traffic behind him. That's Marco, 4 cars back. That's lap vehicles in between.
Is that Herta in a second position I've seen right now?
I don't think so.
It's Brian Herta in the second position now.
Yes, it is.
It's a team car. He can help Michael win this race if he can just hold that line. It's Marco in the second place. He immediately gets out of the way. Marco's going by on the outside. Brian Herta's going to tuck right back in. Then it's Hornish.
And the 4th car in that freight train is Sam Hornish.
The crowd is going nuts. They're jumping out. I've never seen the people this excited in my entire life. I wish the fans could look up and see what I'm seeing.
Now, how dirty will Michael be to hold back his son?
Marco's going to take a look on the outside heading into 1. We haven't seen that since 1991.
Oh my gosh, Marco Andretti, 19-year-old sensation. I've never seen a driver at this age as good as this kid is right now. He's amazing. The talent is on. Here comes Hornish on the inside. 3 to go.
Look at Michael. He was trying to hold back Hornish so he would not have a chance of getting anywhere close to Marco.
It looks like Michael's hopes for victory are dashed again. This time by, there will be 2 laps to go. The Indianapolis 500 has become the Indianapolis 5. Will it be Marco Andretti or will it be Sam Hornish Jr.? Hornish coming after him. The margin at the stripe, half a second. The look of Mario Andretti and the captain tells it all. Here comes Hornish. He's closing on Marco Andretti.
Oh, this does not look good. Oh,
Sam should have waited. He should have waited until the front stretch.
It may cost him dearly because this time by, it will be one lap to go. Just listen to the crowd as they come down the front stretch.
White flag. I believe Marco can do this. I really think he's got it. He's got to hold the line. Low lane, Marty Scott. This kid, I believe, is going to win this race. The most exciting Daytona 5. I'm sorry, the most exciting Indy 500 ever.
Down the backstretch for the final time. His father has not won it in 15 tries. Through 3. Hornish closing one more time. Coming out of 4. Down the front stretch. It's a drag race. Marco Andretti. Hornish. Who's going to win? At the stripe. It's Hornish.
Oh, Hornish wins.
Hornish wins by 6/100ths of a second. The closest finish, second closest in Indy history.
All right. You're a hell of a band guy. Whoa. You're the man. Yeah, that's awesome, Sam. Green flag.
Marco Andretti had to hesitate when he couldn't get clear of Castroneves. You heard him with the quick downshift, and he was able to defend his position in line.
And he caught right back up to Castroneves. Hunter Ray has a very fast car, which he can hold off going into turn 1. And will he defend the position? Scott, here's your answer, down low.
Castroneves looking for the race lead.
And here comes Marco. Two teammates in second and third place.
Hunter Ray challenged by Marco Andretti to turn 3. Oh, that's close.
That's exactly what
That's what he wants. Castroneves needs the two of them to fight relentlessly to get him just enough room. Now we have 4 laps to go.
The defensive line down the front stretch, but Hunter Ray looks to the outside.
We talked about the wind before. The wind's behind you going into turn 3 where we're headed right now. We look backwards to Marco Andretti. He's going to try and make a challenge against these two.
Hunter Ray almost clips the grass for the lead.
He's pulled it off.
That was a daredevil move.
Andretti peeks to the inside, but the door is shut for second place.
3 to go, 3 to go.
Castroneves sets up high to get a run for Hunter Ray on the back straight.
And if these drivers tangle, Munoz is 4th, Montoya is 5th, Kurt Busch is 6th.
Hunter Ray going all the way down to the bottom to try to break the toe. Elio Castroneves does exactly the same thing again, sets up high.
Marco's car slid there, not sure he has what he needs to get to the front.
Big run. Outside.
Clear.
What a pass. Castroneves the leader. They'll come to the white flag next time. Here comes Andretti. Here comes Hunter Ray.
Hunter Ray got him into 3 the last time.
Defensive line by Castroneves.
He's going to have to do it this time.
Here they come to the white flag. We'll enter the final lap of the Indianapolis 500. Ryan Hunter-Reay to the outside of Elio Castroneves for the race lead. That kind of drafting warm up the photo finish cameras. Half a lap to go. Ryan Hunter-Reay leads. Elio Castroneves is second. Can Castroneves close on him? He's a couple of car lengths back. One last corner to go. Checkered flag is in the air. Here comes Castroneves. He won't get there. Florida's Ryan Hunter-Reay wins the Indianapolis 500.
Captain America pulled it off.
Awesome, man, awesome.
As they come toward the green flag, Little Al now being chased by Scott Goodyear. Goodyear for the biggest finish of his life.
Little Al probably has a decisive edge in experience in these situations. If you think back 3 years ago with his last lap battle with Emerson Fittipaldi. But it may very well be that today Scott Goodyear may have the better machine here. You see Little Al trying to throw him out of his slipstream, his draft there, by cutting across the straightaway.
Little Al will weave all over the straightaway, trying to keep Scott Goodyear away.
Well, it certainly is. And keep in mind another thing. They have a race gear, a real fast gear, and a cruise gear. Both of these guys are letting all the saving go to the wind now. It's in the go gear right now.
And Scott Goodyear closes in behind Unser Jr. Remember, Big Al runs in third place right now. The battle, though, is at the front of the field.
For what is happening to Scott Goodyear right now, this is incredible. After years of relative obscurity, trying to set his career up to do the right things, suddenly he finds himself with a moment where it could all come right in the biggest possible way. He's got the opportunity on the plate.
Strategy right now, for example, is just flat out. There is nothing being saved right now because, remember, Little Al is making dirty air or hard air for Scott Goodyear to run in, and leading right now. Running in that clean air is definitely an advantage.
This is not a NASCAR race situation where it would be to some advantage for Scott Goodyear to stay in second place. He's not in a position to save fuel. I think if he can make the pass, he's going to make the pass. I think Little Al at this point may be just sheer finding more turn speed, Bobby.
And what he's going to do is he can fine-tune the track because he has nobody's dirty air to run in. He can set and fine-tune. He'll be running the track in inches in different places, Sam, to try to figure out the fastest place. And he uses his mirrors behind him, seeing where Scott is, to see whether he's gaining or losing.
Scott Goodyear tries to keep out in clean air so he can keep his radiators cool on the car, keep the engine cool. They're turning the laps at 223, almost 224 miles an hour. 196 laps are complete.
Little Al told me a week ago, he says, I'm going to have to run the last laps around 225. Darn if that isn't pretty close, Paul.
Neither car in contest at the moment. Scott Goodyear trying desperately to make up the distance. He's inching up on Unser Jr. And Scott Goodyear is now right there, right behind Little Al. He follows Little Al down the main straightaway. Anywhere Little Al goes, there is Scott as well.
And forever, when you weave back and forth like that, you scrub off a little bit of speed too, but Scott has nothing he can do except to follow him because he needs the drafting.
Scott Goodyear, of course, a Canadian early in his career. You see him setting up Little Al now. He seemed to kind of give you the feeling that things were coming easily for him. Then he had a long period there, 2-3 years, where just couldn't get any result at all. Suddenly he's vaulted back to this moment. He can see the possibility of winning the Indy 500 if he can make one pass. But he has got to pass one of the savviest, canniest, and most determined drivers in the business.
A lot of that's going to come from the old sprint car days. That's where little Al came from, was go-karts and sprint cars. He's got a lot of savvy on how to keep somebody from passing.
The 198th lap in the record books. On this lap in 1989, Emerson Fittipaldi and Little Al touched wheels. Little Al hit the wall. Fittipaldi went onto the west. Scott Goodyear still trying to catch him.
Right now, there's no traffic involved in front of him, Paul. This is what got him the last time.
And Al Unser Jr. sees Dwayne Sweeney's white flag. 2.5 miles. One more lap to go. If Scott Goodyear has a chance, the time is now. Don't forget 10 years ago, Johncock and Rick Mears raced on the last lap for the finish. Johncock won that one. That was experience over Rick Mears' relative inexperience. Will that happen again here today? They're on the backstretch. 223 miles an hour on the last lap.
No traffic involved.
They make the turn for home now. On the main stretch, Scott Goodyear closes in. He looks for a place to come by. Scott Goodyear tries it, but no.
I believe that's the closest finish in Indy history. Closer than the race 10 years ago when Johncock beat Rick Mears.
10 years ago when Little Al was new to this track. And now, Al Unser Jr. is a winner at the Indianapolis 500.
That was the most fabulous finish I've ever seen. I've never seen anybody try any harder than Scott Goodyear did or Little Al. They zigzagged all over the racetrack, did everything they could to mess each other up or whatever that you try to do.
Scott Goodyear pulls alongside and salutes the new winner. Remember though, Scott has nothing to be ashamed of. Let's go to Jerry Punt.